Good afternoon to you. I'm Stacey Ann Providence. CNews is live. Topping the news at this time, the build-up to the UNC's internal elections has taken a sharp turn as Vasant Bharath announces his withdrawal from the race. Now, today is nomination day for the United National Congress, and Mr. Bharath has declared that the election process is not fair, and the party's leader, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, has been given an unfair advantage. Mr. Bharath held a news conference this morning. The Prime Minister's visit to China has been deferred from November this year to 2018. The change comes as China puts emphasis on developing the relationship between our two countries. Ambassador Zhang Yumin of China made the request known at Minister Stuart Young's office on November 14th, where he explained that the expansion of relations between China and Trinidad and Tobago was considered critical. In light of this, the Prime Minister has been invited to pay an official visit to China next year, replacing the invitation of the high-level meetings in order to strengthen bilateral activities and relations. Well, making money from the tourist industry is now opening up, especially for homeowners, through the concept sharing the tourism economy. This new enterprise is a revolutionary concept which encourages tourists who visit to choose non-hotel accommodation. Now, Division Head of Tourism and Hospitality Services of Sharing Caribbean, Tanisha Brown-Williams, explains the concept.
It basically speaks about sharing your unused assets or underutilized assets. So we would be familiar with sharing of your cars with Uber. And of course, for the accommodation sector, we're talking about sharing your home spaces via Airbnb, VRBO, and so forth.
She assures that the issue of safety, both for the host and the tourist, has been taken into account in this new venture. Hosts can vet visitors and also refuse to book them, while tourists can check on accommodation offerings on the internet sites.
What is key also in choosing a property is your customer reviews, so that if you see a property is not attracting good reviews, it's a good indicator of whether or not it's a safe or secure accommodation facility to visit. So that on both ends, yes, there are pros and cons, but there are measures to really maximize your experience at an accommodation facility.
Ms. Williams emphasizes that this field of enterprise can get you additional income.
At Sharing Caribbean, we are working with national and international standards.
Okay.
So that assessment process, we don't like to use the word rigorous, but it's thorough. And of course, it's based on national standards. So we're holding to something that is credible in terms of our assessment. Having said that, the role of Sharing Caribbean is to assist those potential or even existing visitor accommodation properties or bed and breakfast operators to get themselves started.
An early morning police exercise in the Belmont area has seen the seizure of 1 pistol, 3 revolvers, 1 AR-15 rifle, and a quantity of ammunition, along with 23 kilograms of marijuana. The exercise took place between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. and was conducted by officers from the Interagency Task Force Duncan Street Police Post. Well, more than 100 years of publishing is a big deal for the Catholic News, which is about to celebrate this significant milestone. Father Robert Christo says they are proud of their achievement.
We are celebrating 125 years uninterrupted print media. After the cleaner from Jamaica, we are the only paper in the region that can celebrate uninterrupted printing since the anniversary is really May the 6th. So 125 years, and I'm very excited because, one, it's come from very humble beginnings.
The Catholic priest says they achieved this feat of longevity based on the commitment of their readers and publishing staff.
We can boast, one of the key things we really boast about is loyalty and vocation, 2 things basically. The people who have worked in it, it was not necessarily career-driven, it was a vocation, a call from God. And a lot of the people you see in the trailer and the documentary that we have been archiving is people who give their entire lives for this evangelical faith formation tool.
Father Christo says the celebration is all about their history, how the paper has responded to crises, and the excitement of entering a new era dominated by digital technology. Well, fitness walkers and island hikers has been expelled from the Hiking Association of Trinidad and Tobago. The board of directors met with Mario Russell, leader of the Fitness Walkers Island Hikers, for a discussion on the death of hiker Richard Baird at the Aripo to Hollis Falls hike on August 19th. Based on those discussions, the directors of the association suspended the Island Hikers Fitness Walkers membership from their umbrella organization. Mr. Russell ignored a deadline and extension of this to detail how he would implement safety recommendations from the Hiking Association, and in light of this, the board revoked the membership of the Island Hikers Fitness Walkers while also removing Mr. Russell from the position as director of the Hiking Association of TNT. Now, this is CNews Live Report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com. Or you can check us out on Facebook or Twitter at CNews Live. And let's take a brief look at the weather forecast for the period this afternoon. Trinidad and Tobago should see cloudy patches interrupt sunshine, giving light to moderate showers in varying areas. There is a chance that one or two of these showers could become heavy and thundery in a few areas, mainly during the afternoon. Conditions will become relatively settled as the afternoon progresses into evening, but with lingering showers in a few areas. In the event of a heavy shower or thundershower, winds may become gusty and street or flash flooding is likely to occur in areas so prone. Seas are normal with waves 2 meters in open waters and less than 1 meter in sheltered areas. Shiva Boys made a bold statement of intent in this year's Coca-Cola Intercall Series when they crushed Moruga Secondary 11-0 to cruise into the semi-finals of the South Zone competition. There they will face the team that dethroned them in the Premier Division this year, Presentation College of San Fernando, who also waltzed into the semis behind a 5-1 win over Point Fortin East. And in the East, national champ Sawa North made light work of El Dorado East to start the defense of this title in style.
1-0 thanks to Kyle Thomas in the 19th and were 2 in front when Brandon Semper turned in this cross in the 25th. They thought they had a third here, but it was waved off for an infringement and spared Eldo's blushes. But there was no controversy here, as the right-sided cross again found Terrell Cameron at the back post, who taps in for 3-0 in the 31st. The men from Bugmalachis would add another before the half, when skipper Ronaldo Boyce made it 4-0 in the 41st minute, going solo to complete the deal. They came calling again, but this time keeper Josiah Gomes was alert and he closed down the angle quickly and kept it at 4-0 to the interval. Sawa got the ball in the net early in the second half, but that was waved off as well by the officials. Then Gomes came up big for his team again to thwart another Sawa raid. But Sawa would add another eventually when Kareem Grant, as cool as ever, dupes his marker and fires past Gomes in the 67th. Eldo got a rare sniff at goal, but that threat was quickly extinguished by the Sawa keeper. And at the other end, this rocket is badly misplayed by Gomes, and the ricochet from his shin is gobbled up by an alert Ronaldo Boyce, who added his second of the day to make it 6-0 in the 73rd. Still, they went in search of another, and Gomes had to be alert here to keep this one out. And just before the final whistle, Sawa came knocking again. Only this time, the woodwork came to Gomes' rescue, and it stayed out to preserve a 6-0 final score as Sawa moves on in the East Intercall. They were joined by St. Augustine Sec, who edged Arima North 1-0. Shiva Boys put their recent troubles behind them and hammered Moruga Secondary 11-0 thanks to a beaver trick from a Terrell Sexyman Batiste. Premier League champs Presentation College also slammed Point Fortin East 5-1 to set up a semi-final grudge match with Shiva. In the North, QRC Blanc Trinity Mocha 2-0 and will meet St. Anthony's, who strolled past St. Francis College, formerly Belmont Secondary 3-0. And over in Tobago, Goodwood Secondary drew 2-2 with Pentecostal Light and Life, but prevailed 4-3 on penalties to move on to the semis in the Sister Isle.
That's it for sport. That was your CNews Report at noon. I'm Stacey Ann Providence. Remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, you can visit the CNews website at ctvtt.com. Have a good afternoon.